Lindsey's going to talk about how to meet strangers. We're all strangers. Raise your hand if you were born in the 60s, the 70s, or the 80s.
I don't admit
that. Sorry to disclose anything as in birth year. Also, because you were probably born in the 60s, 70s, and the 80s, also raise your hand if you're aware of the PSA stranger danger as a kid. Okay, so it's much less than I thought. So basically, us 60s, 70s, and 80s babies have this inherent awareness of strangers. It's this taboo feeling that we are repelling against each other. Why is that? Well, to me, I blame it on that PSA, stranger danger. I mean, it was effective. It was for a good reason. For little kids, stay away from strangers luring them to vehicles. You probably remember that commercial very vividly. However, now grown-ups, it's still there. It's still taboo. So how do we meet strangers? Now imagine that you're 1 block away from ground zero. You're in New York, and it's September 2011. Smoky, you hear screams, loud bursts, you can't see anything, you can't breathe. Boom, you hear another. It gets scary, right? Now look to your right, or your left. The person next to you is your comrade now. You bonded with this person because you just went through this traumatic experience. All the prejudices, anything that normally would repel you, to talk to them, to get close to them, to even touch them, it's now gone because of that traumatic experience. In 2002, a man named Scott Heiferman and his co-founders created a social network called Meetup.com. 9/11 was their core inspiration of creating Meetup.com because they wanted a network to bring strangers together in a meaningful way. So you think of Facebook and Twitter and all these other social networks out there. They bring you together, but they're also existing networks. You have friends that join. You're self-publishing on Twitter, but really not for a main objective, just to kind of report your day or something you're doing, unless you're into branding and maybe you have an objective. But what other social network actually brings strangers together? If you know of any, shout it out. Anyone? Well, Meetup.com is completely different than Match.com, and the reason why is because with Match.com, you're coming in there with an objective to meet a stranger for a love interest. But are you trying to date the entire site, or a selection of the site, or a group of the site? It's really just to find that one special person, like me. However, with Meetup.com, it's a site, a social network that can pretty much match you to strangers off of a common goal and interest. So we all are here at Extreme Toastmasters because we have a common goal and interest to become better public speakers. We're all strangers before then. I know Tim, I know Marty, I know Megan, I know Ken, I know Peggy now, but before joining this group, they were absolute strangers. So 14 years later, Meetup has 13.4 million members on the site. They are in 196 different countries, and there are over 120,000 Meetup groups coming together every single day. So let me show you. So in lieu of me being the up-and-coming PR actually, perfect timing to talk about meetup.com. And basically, we all have a common goal, and that is to improve our public speaking. And I'm going to put Stream Toastmasters on Meetup for a Meetup group. So raise your hand if you are not a Meetup member. Okay. So most people are. That's actually great. So Tim, because you are not a Meetup member, I'm going to walk through the site, but at the same time, if you could get started and sign up. So this is the homepage, and it's pretty simple. You probably have seen it before, but essentially, you'll go on the site, and instantly it'll mark where you live. And right now, it's showing that I live in New York, which is not true. So let's get to Chicago. So basically, within 5 miles of where we are, it'll show you different meetups that are happening. Obviously, I'm not signed in. It would be more specific to my account. So you can either put in an interest, or you can look at what's going on specifically today, or in a week, or in a month. So Marty, what are you interested in?
Technology.
Technology. So because of Marty's interest in technology, you get to see all the different meetups that are happening and how many members that are associated with that meetup. Now, the meetups are usually free for the members. So basically, if you find a meetup that, let's say it's the Chicago Council on Science and Technology, they pay the cost to actually facilitate the meetup, and the members are free. But usually when there's a smaller meetup, there is a monthly cost associated with it to actually have the meetup group, so there are membership fees. So usually it's $1.50 per month to maybe $5, but to be an actual group admin, it's about $12 to $19 a month. So based on that interest, you can see all the different meetups that are going on just on technology, and technology is quite a large category. So you can just see this is within 5 miles of here, how many technology groups you have to offer. It's a lot. So Tim, when you get to the point where you have to select more than 3 interests, will you let me know? Okay. So before ET, we were all strangers. So all the members who are Meetup members or have an account with Meetup.com, I'm going to create a group for ET. And basically, it is to get more members, just like today, have a full house to come to our groups, but it's also a way for us to stay connected. So basically, once we're all connected, you can see my meetup and you can see my interests, which look a little something like this. So this is how my homepage looks when I log in. It's a little more specific, talks about what's happening actually today, at what time. Say I want to go at 6:30 or at 10 p.m. tonight, since it's 7:30, go to Drinks and Fancy, that sound bar. I can. And if I want to be more, look at groups, not necessarily what's going on today or tomorrow, here are all the meetups that are specific to my interests. So if you go to your profile here, you'll see these are the groups that I'm associated with. So with me, Interactive Design and Development, Miss Tech, and Startup Grind Chicago are groups that I'm associated with. I personally have used Meetup.com for professional endeavors only. However, I just recently used it for personal. So basically, there was a meetup that is specific to if you don't have friends in Chicago. So I moved to Chicago 2 years ago, looking for friends that, obviously as a transplant, it's hard to meet people, in 20s and 30s. So there is groups specific for that. So you can really use Meetup.com for any interest whatsoever. If it's really specific, if you don't really think there's anyone else that loves cross-stitch knitting like you do, there is a meetup for it, I guarantee it. Are you at your interest yet? Oh, internet. Sorry, it's Verizon. So I can show you one other thing that's pretty cool to Meetup.com. So once you are a member, you can begin any startup. You can I'm over time, sorry. You can create a group yourself. So let's say you've been to a bunch of groups already. You're a member, but you also want to create a startup. You can just get started. Start with your zip code, go through and kind of give the description of how a meetup group looks like. It takes 60 seconds, and then there's a membership price. We're running out of time, and our internet has failed us. But the last thing I want to tell you is please sign up for a meetup.com account. It's absolutely free. There's no membership costs, and you will have an ET meetup group by the end of this week. So thank you.